Hi, I'm Jim Sinacropi, and welcome to FLX Weekly here live inside the FingerLakes1.com studio. Today is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023, and we're joined by Katherine Chase, Executive Director of the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail, where we're going to be previewing the upcoming wine and herb weekends on the trail while sampling some great food and wine pairings here. Today's show is brought to you by Seneca Falls Acupuncture. Get your glow back at Seneca Falls Acupuncture. Gorgeous skin is rooted in good health and internal balance. Tap into the power of cosmetic acupuncture to maintain beautiful, healthy skin no matter your age. Learn more and book online at SenecaFallsAcupuncture.com. They're actually located right downstairs here. And nothing but good things about Michelle and Seneca Falls Acupuncture. Also, Lakeside Entertainment in Union Springs celebrating their 20th anniversary with a week of deals, food, and fun at 299 Cayuga Street in Union Springs, starting this Sunday and running through Saturday, April 29th. We'll have a different cigarette deal every day and a gas special on Sunday through Wednesday for their first 100 customers. All purchases receive a ticket towards the drawing where you are entered to win a Polaris RZR RZR XP4 ATV.
Oh, wow.
And $20,000 in cash prizes. So a lot going on around Cayuga Lake this weekend. And actually it'll be the following weekend for the Wine and Herb Fest, which is one of your most popular
Yeah, it's our longest
events.
running event. This is the 31st year.
Jeez.
We don't count 2020. I mean, I just count that in my number, but, you know, we just kind of forget about it. But, yeah, 31 years we've been doing this event. It's our most popular event, and it's the best way to kick off spring.
Right.
So, like Jim mentioned, it's 2 weekends, April 29th and 30th and May 6th and 7th. So you can choose either weekend to attend. Or you can buy tickets to both, you know, whichever.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets are also good for Saturday and Sunday. So you can split the wineries up between both days or go in one day, whichever you choose.
And you kind of would want to, too, because there's so many different offerings at each winery.
Yeah,
It's
there's
tough to get
10
them all at
wineries,
once.
so you can do 5 and 5. Take your time. Enjoy what you're tasting. Remember what you're tasting.
Mm-hmm.
So with the tickets, you do get a wine and food pairing, like what we're sampling here. 3 additional wine tastings, a potted herb and vegetable plant at each winery, and then the recipe collection. And so each winery is assigned an herb or vegetable, and then their dish is created around that, and then that's what you also take home with you. So it's a great way to get a head start on your gardens.
Do you have an herb garden?
We started seeds inside, and we're going to go for it this year.
I'm thinking of doing that this year, too, because I use a lot of herbs. And, you know, if you go to the grocery store and buy them, it gets kind of pricey and something you can just grow. So I was looking into a standing, like, planter table that could go against the back of my house where there gets plenty of sun. And, yeah, so if you do have an herb garden, this is a perfect way to
absolutely.
To get going with it.
And so the things that you will receive, there's hot pepper, there's cilantro, there's dill, oregano, tomato, parsley, cauliflower, sweet pepper, basil, and cabbage. So there's a good mix of herbs and vegetables. Even though we call it wine and herb, it's really hard to find like 10 herbs that everyone uses often, you know. Some you don't use too often, so we sprinkle the vegetables in there.
Well, and they're all herbs that that can be grown here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So tickets are $95 for a single person, $45 for a DD, and $140 for a couple.
That's a good deal. The $140 for a couple is a good deal. And, you know, you think about it, I don't know last time you've been out at a restaurant, but, man, you can't get out of there for less than like $150 after the tip. It's the price of almost everything has gone up.
Sure
but here, first of all, you get to sample a lot of great wines and with the food pairings. And you get the herbs.
And the herbs. And you get a glass to take home with you.
And it can be a 2-day ticket.
Sure.
Like you said, which is nice because you can really get the most value out of it. You can't visit 10 wineries in a day. You just can't.
I mean, you can. People have done it, but you just don't really get to enjoy each stop.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that is. And then I feel like 4 is the sweet number to where you kind of stop remembering what you tasted.
Right.
And 5 might be okay, but after a while it's just repetitious and you forget. If you have a Riesling everywhere, you forget whose is what just because there's so much going on in your taste buds.
Well, and if you're doing the wine, and I've done it a million times where we make too big of an agenda where you might be at one of the first couple wineries just want to relax because they're all such, great venue and the weather could be good. And so I think to do the wine trail, like you said, 4 max, 3 to 4. And then if you're experienced with it, you might have your favorites where you say, okay, we're going to end here because we're going to spend 3 hours, hanging out.
Yep.
So.
And Nap is open for lunch too. Now, so you could plan that around your weekend as well. So, do you want to eat?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff looks great.
So we have
what do
two
we have?
wineries with us today. The first one is kind of an appetizer. It is from Montezuma Winery. They're doing a pepper jelly cream cheese crostini. It is paired with their 2016 Lemberger. So a little bit about the wine, since we're supposed to sip, eat, sip.
Sip, eat, sip.
It has aromas of blackberry, vanilla, hints of freshly cracked black pepper, and it leads into a well-structured flavors of black currant and toasted coconut. And then the food, they were assigned hot pepper. And so instead of taking the traditional route and creating a recipe that just has hot peppers in it, they chose to go a little bit simpler and much appreciated for those who want to recreate it, because sometimes the recipes are a little complex.
Well, I love this. This is the type of thing I do at home.
So this is just a pre-made pepper jelly. A lot of people make their own during garden season because they have so many peppers. But I took the easy way and used, actually Montezuma sells it. It's a pepper jelly. So this is toasted French baguette, cream cheese, the pepper jelly, and then a little bit of thyme sprinkled on top. You could use goat cheese as well, and I kind of wish I had done both just to compare.
No.
Because I like both.
Yeah, both are good, but
Yeah.
I think that if you're doing hot pepper jelly, that cream cheese is the way to go, just because it's a smooth and creamy contrast to the hot pepper, whereas the goat cheese kind of has its own flavor. But this is great, and there's nothing I love more than hot pepper jelly. I really do. It's just it's a great thing.
I like it too.
Goes so well.
Yeah, they pair the thyme. I really love the thyme in this. Really is, the flavor of the wine really picks up that thyme. It just kind of adds that extra like zhuzh to your bite.
Montezuma is expanding.
Yeah, have you driven by?
Yeah, I couldn't believe
They
it.
have, it's like 3,500 square feet, I think. I can't remember exactly.
Like more than doubling, aren't they?
Yeah, they're adding on, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, it was nothing, and now suddenly it's like a full structure. It L's out. And he's like, oh, did you see I'm adding on? I'm like, well, you better make it big this time, because sometimes we do small projects. He's like, oh, I am.
And I think it's such an important spot for the Cayuga Lake Trail because it's the northernmost point.
It's in people's minds the beginning of the wine trail.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're coming off the thruway, or you're coming from, Auburn or Syracuse, it is going to be the first one you see. And it's, and they do, I would think too, as the first stop, I would be really excited because first of all, they do so many different innovative things, So now, just having more of a footprint, it's just, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, they have one of the bigger menus. They have 40, 45, 50 different options between their wines and their spirits. And then, we had Phil on however long ago it was, and he's really creating new things for them. So they need that space for sure. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. It's going up fast.
So this is what they'll be serving at Montezuma?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This exact pairing, the Crostini with the Lemberger.
How do you do the crostinis?
I took French baguette, chopped it up, put olive oil, salt, pepper, toasted it, and then put the cream
In the
cheese.
oven, under the broiler?
In the oven. I just used my little toaster oven, but yeah,
Oh,
I just
gotcha.
baked it for 5 minutes at 400. It would be really good with bagel chips too, I think. You can almost just dip it.
Yeah, I do that at home a lot.
Yep. I make my own bagel chips too if I have old bagels. It's pretty versatile ingredients for this one. So the next one is more of like an entree. It's from Swedish Hill Winery. It's Chicken Enchilada Soup paired with Blue Water's Riesling. I brought soup from Swedish Hill before, and it's always stand out. And I had this for dinner last night, and it is A+. So the wine, it is a semi-dry. It's loaded with floral, peachy, tropical aromas. It finishes nice and crisp and refreshing. Swedish Hill's herb was cilantro, which you can definitely see in the dish once it's stirred. And you can taste it, it's very prominent, but not overbearing. And I personally am a cilantro fan. I know it's hit or miss with
I like
folks.
cilantro. You know that some people, cilantro just tastes like
Soap.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, and they're just predisposed to that.
Yeah.
So it's like they're never gonna like
No,
it. It's
they're
not
never,
like, oh,
ever,
come on,
ever.
you just don't get it. No, their palate just it tastes like crap.
Yeah, they hate cilantro. I'm so glad I'm not one of those. So this recipe calls for optional cayenne pepper, which I omitted, and optional hot sauce, which I did add. And it does have a whole jalapeno pepper. So it's got a little kick to it, but not a lot, and it can definitely be intensified and subdued to your liking. And I think the crisp Riesling is really going to complement the spiciness and the cilantro. I didn't drink any last night when we were eating it for dinner, but I could tell that it was just going to go really well with each other.
Delicious.
I mean, the Riesling is amazing alone.
It's a great Riesling, and to me, we're coming on Riesling season. Like I drink Riesling in the summer, and also enjoy it around Thanksgiving, and then I pretty much set it aside for the winter. So it's nice to have a little Riesling here as the weather's getting warmer.
Oh, yeah. Those two definitely go
Oh
together.
yeah, goes together great. The soup is great. Good
it-
job.
Yeah, it kind of kills that heat a little bit that you taste, which is a not overbearing heat, but they definitely go together well.
You can feel it.
She always does a really good job with her soups. I'm like, I have to make this because she's never steered me wrong with her soup recipes. So, and actually, once I can reach my list here, I have the other options that you can try while you're out. Since I can't make them all for the podcast, there's salmon and dill mousse in European cucumber cups. Their recipe was dill, or their herb was dill. There's lemon oregano chicken meatballs. Their assigned herb was oregano. There's lemony tomato orzo pasta salad. Tomato was theirs. Cauliflower crepes with chicken tikka masala.
Cauliflower crepes, huh?
Cauliflower that's Ursial. It was a chef, and I gave him a few options. I tend to give the chefs a little bit more of a complicated herb or vegetable,
Right.
since they have the knowledge to work with it. And he chose cauliflower, which I'm excited because it's different. There's roasted pepper salad with balsamic vinegar, basil focaccia pizza, and stir-fried garlicky cabbage. So there's a really nice mix of different foods that sound incredibly spring-like and incredibly refreshing. Perfect way to kind of kick off spring. I know it's officially started, but it's not always feeling like it outside.
Well, it's hit or miss. So
Yeah.
last weekend it was like the middle of July, and now it's like back to
It
winter
was hard
again.
to complain that it was hot, but you kind of had to there for a
Yeah.
little
Well, you're just
bit.
not quite used to it. But
No.
when it gets warm in the early spring, it's usually not carrying that humidity with it. But yeah, I mean, and now as we head into the second half of this week, we're going to warm up again.
Yep.
And it's supposed to be like 80 again on Friday.
Yeah,
So
great weekend. And I hope it's like that for our wine and herb weekends as well.
was there a lot of traffic on the wine trails last week?
Oh yeah, it was the second week of spring break for some of the local schools. So there was less people working. The sun was out, so sun's out, wine's out. Wineries have opened up their slushy machines as well, so they're gearing up for heavy spring and summer.
That soup's amazing. Just enough spice. It's not going to make you sweat, but it's
No,
going to make you reach
but
for
you
your
can
Riesling.
yeah, it makes you thirsty. That's for sure. Perfect. Yeah, and then you can add to it. I didn't add the cayenne, but I did go for the hot sauce because that's always a nice.
And both these wines are great. The Lemberger from Montezuma wasn't. Sometimes I like Lemberger, and I like all different kinds of wine. But some people, a Lemberger is just too much.
Yeah,
for.
this one's light. It's
yeah,
kind of light. It's
right.
not overbearing.
And then this Riesling's just a classic Finger Lakes Riesling. It's just perfect.
Yeah. It's a semi-dry, but it doesn't taste super dry, especially with the spiciness of the dish.
Yeah, it goes well. And so, essentially, as you make your way on Wine and Herb Weekend through the wineries, you're not gonna like gorge yourself. You're just gonna be pleasantly satisfied, never hungry, always being able to experience these different pairings. It's really awesome.
And you're going to try something different that you probably wouldn't have tried. The wineries, they choose what wine is paired with the food, and sometimes they'll give you a dry and a sweet option. But what's great about them already choosing that is that you might be trying something you didn't otherwise like, and you'll realize that you do like it. And then you can choose your other 3 wines at that stop. And food-wise, too, like, I'm a picky eater. And so some of these foods I've made, I'm a little iffy about, and I've loved all of them. And it's a great way to kind of go outside of my box a little bit as a picky eater and realize. Plus the wine, it's great.
And we usually bring in the car when we go hit the wine trails some extra stuff like some crackers and cheese dip, and a lot of times we'll grab a bottle at one place and you know, drink it there and before we go to the next place. And yeah, it's just, I wouldn't think that many people around here haven't done the wine trails, but if you haven't, I mean,
Please
you're really
do.
missing out because
Especially
it's
this one.
right here in our backyard. And so you're on Montezuma Winery, Swedish Hill, Knapp, Buttonwood Grove, 680 Cellars, Cayuga Ridge, Thirsty Owl, Hosmer, Lucas, and Americana. So you're going the whole length of the lake.
Yeah, those are the 10 participating in this particular event.
And when you, for people that don't understand how these events work, you can start at any one of them. It's not like you start at the beginning and finish at the end.
Right. It's confusing to a lot. They think a trail is very guided, but we call it a self-guided trail.
Yeah.
You can start and stop wherever and whenever you'd like. The only rule, I guess we'll call it, for this event is you do have to choose from the 10 where you are starting, because that is where you'll get your souvenir wine glass, your plant carrier for the day, and your actual paper ticket to use for the day. And then after that, roam as you please. And so you don't have to start at Montezuma. It is the more popular option just because it is at the top. But they're so close together there in the middle, backtracking isn't really backtracking.
Well, especially if you're coming from the south.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to drive all the way up to start at Montezuma. Or maybe you would.
I would. I do like to start farther away and then work my way closer.
Well,
to where
that's
I'm
true.
ending.
Work your way
That's
closer
my
to home,
strategy.
right.
Yep.
But, yeah, you can't go wrong in this past week with the weather. I mean, I mowed my lawn, got, you know, the outside furniture. Actually, we had some people over for an outside fire on Friday night after my daughter's lacrosse game.
We had a fire Friday night as well.
And that was like, I call it a summer preview because we know it's not like 100% here to stay. But, you know, for that early in April to be able to spend that time outside at night and not, you know, be freezing, it was a real treat. So
yeah, we thought about popping the tent for the kids even because it was that nice out. But I think I had a memory on my phone last year around this time. We had a little bit of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Because that's just how New York works. So you just kind of got to use, she's a little moody. You got to get used to that.
Sorry. And you never can feel fully home free until Memorial Day. Like, I hate to say it, but, you know, Mother's Day is always
it's a
hit or
crapshoot.
miss. And so then that's still a few weeks away here. So, but
that's the solid rule. So for your herbs that you're collecting, you shouldn't start planting them in the ground until after Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
That's kind of the rule of thumb, at least that I follow, to be safe out of frost.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do it this year. I've thought past several years, and then next thing you know, it's July, and I didn't plant them. But
herbs are perfect to start with because you can harvest as you need and then keep growing.
Right, and then you can, at the end of the year, save some, dry some.
Yep. Melt them in some butter and then freeze those. And then you have little buttery herbies in the freezer.
I like that idea.
See?
But again, I just, I got to make a point of it this year. So
yeah, seeds are everywhere, so you can get those.
But if you are, you know, thinking about doing that, then this is a no-brainer event here for Wine and Herb Weekend. 31 straight years, or 31 years of this event, and it does fit perfect with the season. And
absolutely, yep. We tried to do it in 2020, but we actually just couldn't get the herbs and vegetable plants just because so many random things were so scarce. Not 20, was it 2020? Yeah, 2020. Everything was just so randomly scarce, so we switched over to flowers. So we did host an event of this sort where you got the potted flowers. We couldn't do it. We tried, but it was like toilet paper that year, I guess. Just couldn't get it.
Herbs are hard to find.
Herbs are hard to find.
Yeah, one thing that I think about when I think about doing my herb garden is we have deer around our house, and I got to keep them away from there. They'll be like ready to go. They eat my hostas.
Oh, geez.
We got my neighbor across the street actually feeds them. He puts carrots and apples outside.
Well, that's not helping any.
Yeah, but it is cool. It's like we got a little nature preserve working, but I don't
Sure.
want them eating my herbs.
Yeah, there are some things that you could plant that are a little repellent, I think, with deer.
There's some spray too that you can use that supposedly
Yeah.
is pretty safe to put on food that you would eat and would repel the deer. So,
I mean, that's just the way of it when you plant something outside.
yeah.
There's not just deer, there's squirrels. They'll eat anything.
And birds.
And birds, yeah. So plant a bunch just to be safe. You can't have too much.
So, once again, you want to sign up, you want to do the wine herb weekend, what's your first step? How do you go about it?
Go to CayugaWineTrail.com, click on events, then find wine and herb, and choose a weekend, whichever weekend you want to go to. April 29, 30, May 6, and 7. Then your next step is to just choose which winery you want to start at. And after that, you just wait for the event.
Then you go.
Pretty simple, yeah.
Which it's coming right up.
Yeah, next
Not
weekend.
this weekend, but next weekend, and then the following weekend you have
following
an
weekend.
opportunity to do again. Now, does this sell out?
It's not on track to sell out this year. It has in the past, but the past was a different time.
Right.
It's hard to compare, really. The world was a lot different back then.
Well, the thing is back then when it did sell out, I think there's more to offer now. Just all these wineries have
Yeah.
consistently, improved. They're just like what Montezuma's doing.
They're elevating themselves.
Right, and getting more experienced in producing great wines. It just is awesome what's going on in this region in terms of winemaking, and that's when I say it all the time. 680 Cellars is doing some great innovative stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and we know at Montezuma they're trying stuff that nobody else in the world is trying.
No, yeah.
So
It seems like owners are starting to give winemakers a little bit more free-for-all, I guess. It might not be the right term, but they're giving them more freedom to experiment the way they'd like. Because the winemaker is the one creating that flavor brand.
Yeah.
Some winemakers prefer something more florally, and that's how they use different yeast to do that, or whatever. But that's an exact case at Montezuma. They're letting Phil kind of roam free. I'm sure he has to get it approved by them, but they're just letting him take his
they have
knowledge
faith
and rolling
in him
with
too,
it.
because
Yeah.
they've seen what he's done in the
Absolutely.
past. So now, how about Buttonwood Grove? Are they like up and running for their weekend like music events and stuff yet, or is that
I
coming
just
up?
saw their newsletter. Their music is starting soon. So they've already planned their summer schedules. They're already ready to get hot and heavy with summer. Their food truck will be opening shortly, probably Memorial Day weekend. And they had music Friday, Saturdays, and then Sundays if it was a holiday weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I also looking at this roster for Wine Urban. So Thirsty Owl and Cayuga Ridge, that's 2 for 1 almost, right?
Yeah, they're right next to each
you
other.
can walk to the
They're
other
the only
one.
two you can walk to. A lot of
Right.
people ask me, can we walk it? I'm like, I would not suggest it. But those are the two that you could walk to if you wanted to. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a bang bang right there.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
And so, yeah, this weekend, Nap has music Saturday. It's kind of a slow month for winery events, but then once May hits, we're just high gear.
but the weather's going to be good this weekend,
the weather's
so
gonna be
take
good this
advantage of
weekend.
it. So that's why you take a risk, I guess, if you're one of these wineries and you book some entertainment, and then it's, snowing and 30 degrees.
Yeah, but then they have the
that's not case.
space inside to host.
Well,
the
that's
music,
true,
you
but
know.
when the weather
Yeah.
is good, that really people start looking.
It
Say,
certainly helps, yeah.
So we might be looking to get out there on Friday night and do something. I think my daughter has a lacrosse game, an early one, and then I don't know. I'm just so excited. Last weekend was summer weekend
was
preview.
gorgeous.
It was
It was
weekend.
hard to be inside.
It was like a sneak peek
Yeah, yep.
of summer. So
It was great.
hopefully that trend will continue. And
If we're lucky, it'll be just weekends at least that are nice. If it's going to not be great, Mother Nature, if you're listening,
Monday,
choose during the
Tuesday,
week
yeah.
and let the weekends be nice.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Early
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday are the best days for cold and rain.
Yep.
The rest of the week can be good. And in the summer, I feel like weekends start on Wednesday anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people like they just live for the weekend. Well, that's 2 days out of 7
Only
of your
2, yeah.
week, so that's like 100 days out of the year that you're really happy, and the rest you're not so happy. I like to extend the weekend to say it starts on Wednesday. Sure, we're working on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but
But it's light out till almost 10. in
right.
the
So you get home, you
thick of
do
the
your
summer.
yard
Yeah.
work, free up your time for the weekend, or maybe I'm also big for like, why just have a fire outside on Friday or Saturday night? Why not have one on Thursday night? Or why
Yeah.
not go to dinner or go out on Thursday night?
It'll be a little less busy too if
Right.
you choose Thursday night. You might not have to wait.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't go with the thought of
Just 2
the only
days.
time you're happy is on Saturday, and so
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just can't, because that's less than 50% of the week and 50% of your life.
Yeah.
Come on,
No,
people.
that's a really good rationale. You're totally
Yeah.
right. And the winery's open 7 days a week then, so.
Yeah, and actually, it is true. You know, if you really want to savor the experience and go leisurely, early in the week is a great time to go on the wine
Yeah,
trail.
it's
If
less
you're able to,
crowded.
if you're retired, or yeah.
A lot of the wineries, they extend their hours too in the summer, so they open a little later. And it is less crowded to go to because they can get a little busy in there during the weekends, especially holiday weekends. But
Well, Catherine, thanks for the great pairings.
You're
Cayuga Lake Wine Trail website for tickets for wine and herb weekends
Yep.
coming up
Plural.
the weekend after this and the first weekend of May. It's an event you won't want to miss. It's one of their most popular. So thanks for joining me,
You're
and
welcome.
we'll be back next month.
Thanks for eating my food.
Oh, it was really, like, my soup is gone. You didn't even eat your
No,
soup.
I did more of the talking, so. As soon as we hit cut, I'll eat it.
Well, for Catherine Chase, I'm Jim Sinacropi. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend here in the Finger Lakes.